What up, what up, what up, my beautiful people? I know you're anxiously awaiting for this video and the lineups and everything like that, but just to reiterate, guys, this is for your benefit. I'm sure there's going to be, a couple of injury reports that come out, even after this live that I'm recording at almost, what is it, 7 p.m. Pacific. But, I want to get this out to you guys so you can look it over. For those that need to see it in the morning, and then I'll send my lineups. Because there's a lot of guys, like even non-offensive players. You got players on Kansas City like Kendall Fuller, Frank Clark, Chris Jones. These are big defensive players for Kansas City. So, if all of them play, then I might downgrade, some of the Vikings. Not so much Dalvin Cook, but guys like Thielen or Diggs or Cousins. You know what I'm saying? So it's not only offensive player. I make sure every stone is unturned. I also want to take this time because a lot of you guys, I want to be really clear. I'm not in the business of scamming people. Like I said, I waited 3 years to make this an actual business. And for me, it's a business like no other because this is a VIP group. My intention is to keep it small and bet on myself and bet on you guys, which is, I think I told some of you guys, but let me know if you do not agree with this. But I mentioned it to most everyone that what I want to do is a VIP group between 50 to 100 people. Right now I have it capped at 50. And if you win more than $10,000, I feel like I should be entitled to 20%. I also feel like if I don't give you any winning lineups, that you guys should be entitled to another free week. So again, I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on you guys. I'm betting on our energy and our frequency that we can do this together and make history and make news, because nobody's ever offered you. Everything has always been in business about the bottom line. So I could try to scale this to the maximum and try to get as many people to buy off me, or I could keep it small. And by doing so, you're basically paying me like saying, hey, Berto, keep this small, we'll give you 20%. And I'm betting on myself. I'm betting that we're going to win. So that's crazy. That's unheard of. Literally, nobody does that. So I want to be the first to do that because I believe in myself. I believe in you guys. And I believe in good energy and good people coming together to create greatness and do big things. So that's all I'm going to mention on that. Now, with that said, guys, do not go into betting. Some of you guys, and it's mostly the younger guys, you're just turning 18, you're able to bet. You see a lot of people winning money, and it's true, they are winning money, but don't ever go into this with, okay, that's it. I'm, spending $10 or $20 and I'm going to get rich, because it's not like that, guys. Even the best people, you win more than you lose. Remember, you're going up against thousands. So your odds to win, what I like about DFS, though, is in most games, if you do tournament plays, your odds to win are 1 out of 5, which is pretty good odds. But those are odds to win. Those are not odds to get rich or win thousands. You get what I'm saying? And to be quite frank, the more you play, the better chance you have of winning money. Okay? And I mean the higher game that you play. Okay? And the less people that you're competing against, also, obviously, the better chance you have at winning. So there were some people that got lucky that played, a $33 game. I think it was that the guy won, 15 grand, but he had a 1 out of like 2,200 chance of winning that. So it's still, it's hard. It's hard. But if you play 50-50 games, okay, and go to DraftKings, I recommend you guys clicking the game. Let me see here if I can. I wish I had my adapter. Next week I will probably, where I can put it on the screen for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But make sure when you enter a contest, read the payout structure, read the contest. So for instance, what do we got here? You go, you click. Classic is the one we're doing. We're doing just the Sunday games, not the Monday night games, not the really early London games. So go to Classic. That's the one I'm basically schooling at. And then click. You'll see there'll be a bunch of games, $10, $150. So, and you'll see the top prize. It'll be 20,000, win 100,000, win $1 million. Those are harder to win. Here, there's one for $33. You could win 20,000 if you're first. You're competing against 2,800. So obviously, if you're competing against 2,800, that's a lot easier to win. Not that it's easy, but it's easier to win, okay, than if you're competing against for the $1 million one where you're competing against, you know, I think 1 million people or something. So keep that in mind. The bigger the game, the harder it is to win. Now, all the games pretty much in that category are 1 out of 5. But let's say you pay the $33 game, right? You could win $20,000 if you get them first. Then you click on the game on the top right. Once you click on the game to do your lineup, you'll see 3 little dots. Click on the 3 little dots, and then it'll say payout structure. Let me see if I can show it here. It doesn't show it. All right. Let me see. Forget it. So it'll say take a screenshot, depth chart, entrance, contest details, payout structure. So go to payout structure, and then I'll read it to you real quick just to give you an example. So the first place is 20,000, the second place is 10,000, third place is 5,000, then 2,500, so on and so forth, all the way to if you place in the top 590. Okay, that's why I said 1 out of 5. 590 divided by 2,800, whatever I said is 1 out of 5. You'll win $50. So this game, you play $33, and you have a pretty decent shot of winning $50, but you only profit 17 minus the 10 you paid me. You only really profit $7. Okay, that's why this is really for more people that want to play and have a little bit of money to spend. Again, if you want to treat it like a lottery, that's what I've been doing because I don't have money. So I've been paying a bunch of $3 games. So I've gotten lucky. I've placed 788 out of 515,000 people, which is insane. That's 0.0001 percentile. And then another game I placed 328. Had I gone with this a more expensive game, like my favorite when I was really gambling was the $333 game, because the $333 game, that's the one that I hit that allowed me to retire essentially. So for instance, the $333 game, and guys, feel free to skip through this if you know all this. I have a lot of people not familiar with the different games who are asking me, and a lot of people like, how can you win? How can you win? I'm going to give you the best shot of winning, but the best shot of winning usually requires a little more money or, not going for the big fish. The bigger the pot, the harder you go. And you can mix it up. That's what I used to do. I used to do what I call lottery tickets, so $3 games or $20 games for the million. I've hit I've won money off them. Like when I placed 328, just to show you how hard it is. 328 place or 322, whatever I got, out of 515,000. That's the top 1% to hit in the top 1%. 2 out of 3 weeks is unheard of. It's unheard of. But even then, I got like $250 because these games, there's so many people playing. Think about 515,000 people that even if you're a 0.5 less, you could go from first to like 300 just from being 0.5 short. Had I played that in the $3,300 game, I could have probably won first and got $200,000 because that's how good that lineup was. But there's just so many people. Remember, that $333 game, there's only where's my game at? The one I used to play. There's a $333 game where you can win 20K, but that wasn't the one that I hit. Where is this crap? Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Are they not doing it? They gotta be doing it. Anyway, this is not the one. Oh, this is the early only. Hold on, guys. Classic, featured, and again, feel free to skip through this, guys. All right. So here's the one that I hit. It's $333. All right. So you're competing against 3,300 people, 3,336 people, right? Okay. You pay 3,300. Contest details. Wait, no, payout structure, sorry. So this one, again, it's 1 out of 5. If you place in the I think that's 1 out of 5. All right. If you place within the top 140, you get $1,000. Well, 100. The 101st place person to the 140th gets $1,000. All right. So you got a 1 out of 5 chance to make 333 minus 1,000. That's almost $700. Whatever. 1 out of 5 chance. But you have a 1 out of 3,336 people, whatever, of getting 200,000. That's pretty good odds. It's pretty good odds, believe it or not. That's what I'm saying. The more you play, the higher game you play, the better chance you have. Okay, so just want to throw that out there. And then the easiest ones. This is the ones if you just want to make a little bit of money. A lot of you guys want the home run. I get it. That's not the best way to make money. If you want to, you could do the 50-50 games. That's you put $25. Let's say there's 1,000 people, 500. So it's 50-50. Half will win and half will lose. So your chances are 50-50. So it's basically, so for instance, let me do this. Hold on. 50-50. So this is double up. $25. If you win, hold on. Yeah, sure. So the top 2,000 people get $50. So it's $45.97. So it's almost half. So 4,500 people are in this game. The top 2,000 double their money. So you pay $25, and if you finish in the top 2,000 out of 4,500 people, you get $25. Those games are easy. Really easy. But if you want to make real money off it, you put $530. I know a lot of you don't got it like that. I don't got it like that. But you have 50% chance of doubling up $500. That's why those games are cool. Those are the ones I used to play all the time when I had money. But you can't be scared. Like this one, this is called Double Up, $250. All right. There's 333 people. The top 150 people get $500. So basically, you almost got a 50% chance of doubling your money. 250, you get 250. That's the best way to play. That's the best way to get money. But again, you're not getting rich. It's not the thousands. It's not the trip to Miami. I get all that. But if you want to win, y'all were asking me how to make money. That's your best shot. And then the last thing is multiplayer. What was the other one? There's like tournaments. There's small tournaments too. These are kind of big money. So for instance, here you got one. Here you got a 1 out of 9 chance to go into the fantasy football championships. There's 2 games like that. It's $123, and you got a 1 out of 9 chance to go into the championship. That's pretty good. That's pretty good because if you go to the championship, you got a shot at $2 million. So let's see the payout structure here. It's just a ticket. So you either finish in first and you go to Miami, but you don't get nothing. Well, you get a trip to Miami. I think. Where's the ticket? I don't know. So it doesn't really specify. But 100. Maybe it's just I don't really know, bro. But anyway, the point is you either get the trip to or you either go to the championship or you get nothing. You know what I'm saying? But if you go to the championship, you got a shot at I think 2 million or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know all these games myself, but just click around. Just click around DraftKings and yeah, that's basically it. Click around. Just know, look at how many people are playing, see the payout structure, see the odds. You can divide it however many people are playing by however much people are winning, which is in the payout structure. That'll tell you your odds to win something. All right. So guys, let's get into it. All right. So this is about the 15-minute mark. All right. Starting with, here's another thing, guys. And this is something that I figured out. You won't hear this anywhere. And it's almost like non-scientific. That's why you won't hear it, or non-statistical. But every single week it's true. Just go back to the weeks. and you've heard me say this before, but some of you guys are new. Every single week, you have your like guaranteed blow up players. Because again, when we're doing tournament play, we are looking for the blow up players. That's what we're looking for. It's not like, you know, league play where you just want solid play, you want high floors. No, we're going for the home run. Sometimes those home runs strike out, but we're going for it. Okay, that's how you win. Because even if you get a guy that scores 0 or 10 points, if you get all the guys like we got last week where we had Evans and Cup and, you know, all these crazy blow up players, and then we had a guy like, I don't know, just pick some clunker. Those 30 points, all those make up for that clunker. So we're going after the home runs. So this is the way it works. Every week, there's your guys like Dalvin Cook. Like you got Dalvin Cook against Kansas City, slam dunks. You gotta pick your slam dunks. Okay, that's what I call the slam dunks. So every week you have those. And then you have your guys that people are low on. You know, they stay away from because it's a tough matchup. Okay. A lot of people weren't picking Mike Evans last week. Okay. And then you have like D-Hop was a slam dunk against Oakland last week. Mike Evans was the guy that people were kind of sleeping on. And then you have your low guys that blow up. Darius Slayton, those wide receiver threes that play like wide receiver ones. Every single week, you have a guy in a bad matchup that comes through, a guy in a good matchup that flames out, a wide receiver 3 that produces like a wide receiver 1. You have this every single week. So my job or your job is to find out who those players are going to be. So some of these players that I'm talking like, I don't want to start them. But would you want to have started Chris Conley, another guy I mentioned last week? Nobody was talking about Chris Conley. So you have to find those really, really cheap guys. That's the science. That's the kind of like puzzle. Who's going to be this week's cheap guy? And who's going to be that guy in a bad matchup that comes through? That's why I get paid the big bucks. No, I'm just kidding. All right, sort of, but it's not really big bucks. But you guys are paying, so I respect that. And I don't take that lightly, by the way. That's why I take so much time and effort to go through this. And I want to explain because I want you guys to win. That's why I'm going over all this crap. All right. So, obviously, Russell Wilson against Tampa Bay at home, 7,100. I have to mention him. I don't think I'm going to be playing Russell Wilson because, you know, he just hasn't had any blow-up games since Disley came. And just 7,100, I'm not sure that there's that big a difference between Russell Wilson, and I hate to say it, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not that, I mean, of course, I'll take Russell Wilson straight up over Ryan Fitzpatrick, but Russell Wilson at 7,100 and my lowest guy that I would consider Fitzpatrick at 4,400, you know, I could use that extra almost $3,000 and that would pay for my defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's the issue I have there, but I have to mention him because he's at home against Tampa Bay. I do expect that to be a pretty high scoring game. So let me see. I think that might be the highest scoring game of the week because that's another thing you want to look at, guys. You want to get as many players possible on the high scoring games of the week, and Vegas is usually pretty spot on, believe it or not. That's why it's sometimes hard to bet because there's a fine line. Vegas gets so close. Let me see here. Oh, it fell. Anyway, while I look that up. Okay, so the next guy is Winston. Now, this guy, he's scary because I feel like Winston's so close to getting benched. Like, if he has another game like the last 2 against Carolina, against Tennessee, I mean, you're forced to pretty much bench him. Like, you don't have a choice. But with that said, the offense is top 5, and Seattle's secondary is horrible. So you know Seattle's going to put up points at home, which means Tampa Bay's going to have to throw. They have no running game. So Winston, as long as he doesn't get benched, he's a solid start, especially at 6,100, 1,000 less than Russell Wilson. And I think he could even have a better game. So, yeah, the game there, it is don't recommend it. Hold on. Still don't got it. Anyway, next guy is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold against Miami. I mean, Sam Darnold's supposed to be this stud quarterback. Everybody's high on him. You know, he comes back from mono. He lights up the Cowboys, and then 2 clunkers. I mean, he looked abysmal against New England. It looked like it carried over a little bit against the Jacks. I think he had another 3 picks after throwing 4 or 5 against New England. So, but it's Miami. It's Miami, and I don't think people are talking about this enough. It's a revenge game. Yes, Adam Gase, his coach, was fired by Miami. You don't think he wants to win this game? You don't think he wants to shove it in their face? What a mistake they made, even though I don't think so. But that's added incentive. So, yeah, I think Sam Darnold at 5,900 is a tremendous, if he's talented like everybody says, he's got the best matchup. It's a revenge game. I think Sam Darnold is a great start this week, and he doesn't have anybody. They're not gonna bench Darnold. So, Sam Darnold, very solid. Here's a guy. Remember what I told you guys? There's always guys in a bad matchup that come through. And I said this on my other start sit. Carson Wentz at 5,700 is really cheap. And Carson Wentz is a guy that could light up a good defense, especially at home. If this was in Chicago, I'd feel differently. But and Philadelphia's defense is not that good. I mean, Chicago's offense is horrible. But let's say they finally get their stuff together and they're able to pass on Philadelphia. And all of a sudden, this becomes, a little more higher scoring. I think Carson Wentz at 5,700 is worth a shot. I'm not going to have him in all my lineups. I think most of my lineups are probably going to be Darnold, Winston, and Fitz. But I would take a shot at Carson Wentz because he's so low and he has so much upside. And I don't believe this Bears defense is what it was last year. So I would take a shot at a guy like Carson Wentz. Another guy I would take a shot at who has been abysmal. But remember, it's fantasy. It's DFS. We're looking for deals. We're looking for points. They don't have to do it pretty, but same game, Mitch Trubisky. To be able to get a starting quarterback at 5,000 against a bad defense in a good matchup, even though Mitch is bad himself. Again, my quarterbacks are Winston, Darnold, Fitz predominantly, but I'll do a lineup because I'm able to save money and use that money elsewhere, okay? So, quarterbacks seldom have like true blow-up games like we saw, Aaron Rodgers a couple weeks ago. Deshaun Watson had one as well, I think against Atlanta. So it's harder to find quarterbacks in blow-up games. So I'd rather save that money for the positional players and at least get, a quarterback that's gonna hold his own. I think both Wentz and Mitch for their price should be able to get about 20 points. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, wide receivers. This one's gonna be long. I'm gonna try to race through it. So Golladay, the matchup is great. It's Oakland, but it's also Golladay. Like Golladay, I feel like he has clunker potential, which is why I'm mentioning him. But I don't think I'm going to go crazy doing Golladay at 7,700 on the road. Again, you guys got to realize, it makes a difference away from home. Quarterbacks are not the same. Receivers not the same. And then you got Marvin Jones, who's been good. At least he was 2 weeks ago. You got Amendola, who's been tearing it up. So I'm not quite sure. And then you got Hockenson in a beautiful matchup. Oakland's horrible against the tight end. So, I don't know if I like Golladay at 7,700 more than I like Tyler Lockett at 7,500, who's, 200 cheaper. And I think he has a better matchup. He's at home. The Bucs are not only horrible in the secondary, but specifically against the deep ball. And because I do play, look, this is what makes me different. Some people, the stats guy, the engineers, those guys, the numbers guys, and they look at me and it's like, this guy, it doesn't make no sense. And then when what I say happens, they're like, how the fuck? Because I take things, unexplainable things, and I use them into my logic. And I know, it doesn't make sense to those guys, but I feel like Lockett is due. Lockett is the type of player, he blows up. He'll have those 30-point games, and he hasn't really had one. He hasn't had one in a while. So why not this game? It's the matchup. He's at home. I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's that guy. He's that guy. So Lockett is great. The next guy is my favorite, though. The next guy is my favorite receiver. I mentioned how horrible Seattle's secondary is. And it seems like these guys are trading places. Godwin's been pretty consistent. Okay, I said it. Godwin is my favorite receiver because what's his name? Griffin is going to be on Mike Evans in the outside, and Seattle's been horrible against the slot. So Godwin, I like him better than Lockett because he's guaranteed more targets. He doesn't have to rely on the deep ball so much like Lockett, and he's $200 cheaper. So absolutely love Godwin. He'll probably be in like almost every single one of my lineups. A-Rob, Allen Robinson has been a target hog, has a great matchup, 6,800. He's not cheap because I hate paying, high price tags for players with bad quarterbacks. But the matchup is there. The targets are there, and you just can't discount that because there's not a whole lot of receivers that I really like. This was one of my tougher DFS. I'm going to be quite frank. So after A-Rob, now here, remember I told you guys there's always a player that comes through in a tough matchup. That player this week for me, guys, is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I feel like he's another one. He's due. And I feel like Green Bay, their defense hasn't been that great lately, okay? Their secondary is overrated. It was more predicated on the pass rush, and more specifically, Zaire Alexander is overrated. They play a zone. I think Phillip Rivers will be able to pick, what's the word I'm looking for? Pick them apart. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to get a ton of targets. I think, Rodgers has been on fire, so they should put up points. So I do think Keenan Allen, he's due. He practiced in full, a little slowed down by the hamstring. It's been a while, guys. It's Keenan Allen. He's known for those blow-up games, and I think he has one this week. Xavier Alexander got abused by Amari Cooper. He got abused week 1 by Allen Robinson. Chargers at home, 6,400 for an elite receiver like Keenan Allen all day, guys. All freaking day. Keenan Allen. He's going under the radar. Boom. This is this week's Mike Evans. I'll mention him, but, again, it's like not in love with the quarterback. I like Josh Allen. I was big on him earlier in the year. He's Mr. 20 points. He's safe, but he's not blowing it up. John Brown, he needs to rely on the deep ball. So, yeah, I'm not all that crazy about John Brown at 6,100. I would like him as a third receiver flex if he was like 4,900, but I think he's just too expensive. But it just shows the quality of receivers are just not there. So you got a guy like, John Brown that's 6,100. Not my cup of tea, though. But he's at home, and it's Washington. So, I probably have a lineup with John Brown, but I do think his ceiling is capped. And at 6,100, I would prefer somebody with a higher ceiling. Marvin Jones, another guy. This is something you guys could do too. If you're playing a lot of lineups, if you do like me, I do like $23 games. They're like lottery tickets, like I said. But I'll do a lineup where I know Detroit's going to put up points. It's Oakland. I just don't know who it's going to be because they got so many good players, so many good matchups that I'll go do one line, or you could do multiples. You could do like Marvin Jones and Amendola. Or I'll do one lineup with Golladay, one lineup with Marvin Jones, one lineup. You know what I'm saying? You can mix and match because honestly, I'd just be lying. Oakland's bad all over the secondary. It's not like they have a hole. Like last week, I told you guys, well, Malcolm Butler will probably be on Mike Evans, so Mike Evans will tear him up. And Logan Ryan will probably be on Godwin, so that means, more time. It's not like that in Oakland because they're bad all across the board. So Marvin Jones, I don't like the price. So I don't know if I'm going to go that crazy with Marvin Jones. But I think I like Amendola more. Who's 4,700, 1,300 less, and he's been getting more targets, he's been more consistent. But it just might be a TJ Hawkinson game. I know I'm foreshadowing tight ends, but anyway. Another guy, Metcalf, because we see this is another thing from my experience doing this 3 years. Like I remember when I told you guys, like everybody expects the blow-up player to be Lockett because it's Tampa, they suck. But then it always ends up being, not always, but a lot of times it ends up being another guy. Like, I think it was the Atlanta game. Everybody thought D-Hop was going to go nuts. Atlanta Falcons, they suck. And then it was Will Fuller who hit him with the 50-piece. So just keep that in mind when you're setting your lineups. when it's going against a bad defense, it's not always the obvious player. A lot of times it's that other guy or the third receiver. All right? Just keep that in mind. So DK Metcalf had 2 touchdowns last week, 5,700 against the Bucs. Love it. This, outside of Godwin, and maybe the best value receiver by far, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's that guy. He has huge blow-up potential. And again, it's the Dolphins, no Xavier Howard. 5,500. He's another one that will probably be in almost all of my lineups. 5,500. You can't beat that. An offense that likes to throw against a bad defense, against a coach who wants to take, you can't script this any better. Going against some undrafted rookie. Shout out to Plastic. He's probably watching this. Love Robbie Anderson. Assuming Plastic's not lying. Here's another guy. Again, remember, I take all these weird little things, and I've said this already a couple times in this video, but he's due. And he's due, and he's getting targets. Sammy Watkins. The dude has 2 blow-up games a year. He had 1. I feel like it's time for another one. Because, look, guys, he's been getting targets galore. He got 8 targets last week. And Minnesota's been suspect against the team's second receiver. That's something I've noticed. Marvin Jones went ham on them. You know, Tyreek's going to be locked up on Xavier Rhodes. Not that I'm sitting Tyreek, but I'm not starting him in DFS. So, the other guy, what up, guys? Oh, I got to spit. Doing this live. All right. The other guy is Sammy Watkins. It's Sammy. And, you know, Kansas City's going to throw. They can't run. Minnesota's been suspect against, you know, second receivers. They're on the road. And he's 4,800, 4,900. 4,900 for a player with that blow-up potential. And Matt Moore is a good quarterback. Minnesota, like I said, the defense not the same on the road. So I really like Sammy Watkins. And you got to get those players. Remember, there's always players that everybody overlooks that come through with big games. And I think Sammy Watkins, and that's why I do multiple lineups. So that third guy, I always put my slam dunks. So my receivers.
I was wondering if you want to get something to eat.
Oh, okay. I had those slices. I'm good right now.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Go to the Mexican restaurant. You want anything?
No, I'm good. Thanks. Appreciate it though. So yeah, Sammy Watkins, 8 targets. I think you know, for that third guy, I'll probably have most of my lineups will probably be Godwin, will probably be Anderson, and then for that third receiver, I'll probably mix it. You know, some lineups will be Watkins, some lineups will be Amendola, some lineups will be, you know, the next guy, which is DJ Moore. DJ Moore, 4,800 for a receiver with his talent and his big playability at home against the same guy who let Evans tore him a new one. The only thing stopping me from even loving DJ Moore more is Kyle Allen, because Kyle Allen hasn't made anybody great. But this could finally be the DJ Moore game. 4,800, probably my second best value. Malcolm Butler at home. Oh, and Curtis Samuels might not play. So, love me DJ Moore at 4,800. I mentioned this guy. Amendola, last 2 weeks, 11 targets, 8 targets. Oakland horrible against the slot, 4,700. He's going to be in a lot of my wide receiver 3 flex. Devontae Parker, I like everybody in this game. Devontae Parker has gotten 8 targets consistently. He's their number 1 receiver. The Jets are out their number 1 corner, who sucks anyway, Tremaine Johnson, which means their second best corner might be on Parker, which means I also like Preston Williams. So I'll be doing the same thing that I did with Detroit, where I'll have a lineup with Parker and a lineup with Preston Williams. And I didn't write this guy down, but I think Jamison Crowder. When's the last time Jamison Crowder did anything? It's the perfect time. And you know what? In some lineups, you could even start both Jamison Crowder and Robbie Anderson and save money and go heavy with the Dalvin Cooks, Josh Jacobs, all those guys we're going to get into. But Jamison Crowder, 4,300. 4,300. You could do it. You could start both. You could start Anderson and Crowder, or you could start all the receivers on that game. You could go Anderson, Crowder, Preston Williams, and Devontae Parker. Start one of them at flex. I don't know if I'd go that far, but you get what I'm saying. I like everybody in that game. Pascal 4,100 is decent, but Pittsburgh's been a good defense, so I don't really like his blow up potential because remember we're looking for blow ups. Taylor Gabriel. Again, it has to do with price and blow up. Remember, there's always and Taylor Gabriel. He's kind of like Watkins. He had like 2 huge games last year. He had 1 already this year. This could be, because it's Philadelphia. It's Philadelphia. They're going to be worried about Allen Robinson, and that means somebody's got to do the work. And Philadelphia is really especially suspect to the deep ball. Taylor Gabriel's specialty. Philadelphia stops the run, so Montgomery's taken out, so they got to throw. And if the Eagles are focused on Allen Robinson, frees up somebody. Taylor Gabriel is a great start at 3,900. Also 3,900. Lazard. Lazard. If Devontae Adams misses. Lazard, I saw a stat, he is running the most routes out of the Green Bay wide receivers. So I do like Lazard. I do. I really do. And then last but not least, Anthony Miller. Again, these are just darts, guys. This is how you play tournament play. I would never start Anthony Miller in a season. I'm going to tell you, should I start him? No. This is DFS, guys. But it's because he's cheap and because it's attacking a weakness of the team. He has shown some potential last couple games, has had over 50 yards. But usually this position, guys, when I mention players that are 3,900, 3,700, this is your flex. This is basically the position that it can boom, like Darius Slayton I had in my flex last week for a lot of lineups, and so did you guys. But hopefully they just give you enough, like 10 points, so that you get all the other players right. Or if you get one of the other players wrong, then they'll do what Darius Slayton did and, be that boom player for you. Okay? So that's what we're hoping out of the flex. So if you get them all right, all the rest right, and then you get a guy like Anthony Miller Lazard that at least gets you 10 points, then you're in contention. You're really doing something. All right, guys, my favorite position. Running backs, nothing crazy here. Cook, he's 9,500, but you know what? You got to pay. You got to pay for the guarantee. He's a guaranteed bullet player pretty much every week. So is CMC, but 10,000, I will pass on that since Tennessee's pretty good against the run. I mean, CMC is going to do work regardless, but that's just kills. I mean, Cook does too, but I think Cook has even more blow-up potential. So I'll say 500 and get Cook instead. A lot of people high on this guy, Le'Veon Bell. If I could get a deal on Bell, I would, but 7,700, I just don't see him having any blow-up potential, even in a good matchup. I think people get caught up so much in that people are like, oh, it's Miami, so I'm going to start Le'Veon Bell. But what has Le'Veon Bell showed us all year? Adam Gase is not committed to the run. And the Jets, I think they're going to be out their center, their left tackle. Like 3/4 of the Jets' offensive line is like injured. So I'm not a fan. And Miami Dolphins defense has actually been a little better at stopping the run. Not that they stopped the run, but they've been a little better. So I don't see Bell having that blow-up potential. I think he's solid. I think he has a safe floor against Miami, but I don't see him having blow-up potential. And I'm not paying $7,700. Bell, this is not the Bell that you guys think. And everybody's it is on a side note. Everybody's like, trade for Bell, trade for Bell. Why are we trading for players based only on matchup? To me, that's a loser's mentality, and that's lazy analysis. Shh, don't tell anybody to touch that. But anyway, talent over everything. I rather a guy like Nick Chubb in a bad matchup, but he's $400 less, and he's better. And he's shown us he could ball in bad matchups. It doesn't matter the matchups. He's going to come back pumped from those fumbles, and it's a game script that, is Nick Chubb ready? Because Denver has been really good against the pass, especially at home. Baker's been really bad against the defenses, especially on the road or everywhere, really. So with the rookie quarterback Denver has, I think, it's going to be a close game. I think, maybe they'll get up and maybe they'll just run it out. And I think Nick Chubb is going to have a big game at 7,300. I like him. I don't know if I like him more than this next guy, Aaron Jones, but I don't know. I have a weird feeling about Aaron Jones this game. Like, on paper, this looks, and don't get me wrong, he's going to be in a lot of my lineups. But this is why I tell you guys straight up between my gut and the responsible thing to do, because obviously Aaron Jones against Chargers have been the worst. But Aaron Jones still not getting that type of volume. And he had a huge game last week, but it was more in the passing game. Chargers are more suspect against the run, but Aaron Jones is only getting like 12, 13 carries. And what if Jamal Williams gets the red zone work? And then the Chargers are good against the pass, so I don't expect Aaron Jones to go crazy in the passing game like he went against Kansas City. So you see what I'm saying? So I like Aaron Jones, like, and this is what happens when I become in conflict with the logical brain and my intuition. There's sometimes a disparity, but I'm going to play him, but yeah, this next guy I might like more. And it's weird. Throughout the week, I changed. Like, when I first saw this match, oh, hell yeah, I'm starting Aaron Jones all day, every single lineup. And then, I don't know, I start digging deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, Josh Jacobs, 6,500. Now that's a running back I love, because he's $500 less than Aaron Jones, and he's got all the work. And he's got a game that's going to feature a lot of points, and he's got a team that's so struggling against the run, and he's talented, and they got a good offensive line, and Detroit's got to travel all the way to Oakland, playing at home. Love Jacobs. Love him. He wasn't even on the injury report, so he's fully healed. Eckler is worth mentioning. Again, a matchup play. I think Gordon is the better play, though, because Eckler's 6,000. Definitely has some, potential there at 6,000. But Gordon is the primary ball carrier where Green Bay struggles, and he's only 5,000. 5,000 for Melvin Gordon, that's pretty cheap. You know what I'm saying? Even though he doesn't look good, but Russell Kong should play, practice in full, so we'll see if that helps. I'm not going to go crazy because I'm just not a Melvin Gordon guy, period. Everybody who's been following me knows that I've never, ever had Melvin Gordon. I mean, last year, I think I had him. I don't even think I had him top 10. Obviously, he did better, but I'm just not a Melvin Gordon guy. He never impressed me. Like, I'm not crazy about his talent. I think he was more just a product of the system. So, some players I'm just not that big on. Keenan Allen's one I never play, except I'm going to play him this week. I have a sneaky feeling about Singletary, guys. I feel like he's looked the part for a pretty long time now, but hasn't really had that blow-up possibility. He got injured. He was starting to show that. And last week, I think he had almost 70% of the snaps, so he's pretty much the guy in that backfield. And he's got Washington. At the end of the day, it's all about Washington. And the Redskins can definitely add against running backs. They give up a lot of – it's funny, they're not terrible against the run, but Devin Singletary, guys, he's like a receiver. He's like a receiver. And at 4,700, excellent play this week. He's got the matchup at home. He's got the price, and I just feel like he's due, and he's got the talent, most importantly. So love Singletary, 4,700. And this is the trap. Remember how I've been telling you guys every video, some of you guys have been here. I said there's always that one trap. I said last week it was Ty Johnson. Boy, do I look good about that. Not to toot my own horn or anything. But this week, and with that said, I'm still going to have him in a ton of lineups because the value is just too cheap, is Jaylen Samuels. Jaylen Samuels, 4,000, looks amazing. Amazing, because he's going to get like all the touches. Well, guess what? Jaylen Samuels, horrible running the football. So that means we're basically relying on him as a pass catcher. Indianapolis is a very underrated defense. Now, they can be had against pass catching backs, which is why I'm even putting him in my lineup at all. I think he has a safe floor. So at 4,000, and he can get you 13 points or whatever, and then, you got to hit on all the rest of them. But I don't really see Jaylen Samuels having a blow-up game. I could be wrong, but I just feel like this is a low-scoring game, a defensive game. Mason Rudolph, he's not the one. he's just not. I mean, I'm pretty good at recognizing talent. Just like I said, Dwayne Haskins ain't. Mason Rudolph ain't the one. So I don't have faith in Mason Rudolph putting up points. I don't have faith in them moving around. So really, how is gonna? I think Jalen Samuels will get 5 to 6 receptions or 4 to 6 receptions and maybe 30-something yards, 40 yards, something like that. You got to hope on a touchdown. But without that touchdown, and I'm not sure he'll be the one to get it, I'm not crazy about Jalen Samuels. But to be able to get a starting running back with the type of workload he's probably going to get at 4,000, it's like, have to. But he's another one of those players. Everybody and their mother is going to be starting Jalen Samuels at 4,000. So sometimes you want to deviate to avoid, and try to make up for those. So next position, tight end. I mean, Kelsey 6,900, but I don't really see myself playing 6,900 for tight end, especially if Matt Moore is a quarterback. We still don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to play, which would upgrade everyone. Then I would really like Sammy Watkins. But Kelsey, 6,900, probably won't have him. But Minnesota, that is their weakness. He's just expensive. I still rather have Waller at 6,300 going against Detroit. Ertz, I think, is a sneaky play. I think a guy with that talent and upside at 4,700 playing at home, even if it's against the Bears haven't been great against the tight end. So I just think that's a great value for a type of guy. I mean, you would never get Zach Ertz at 4,700 last year. And I just, again, one of those guys is just due. He hasn't done anything, and he's super talented. So I would definitely look into Zach Ertz, 4,700. Jonnu Smith might be worth, a look at 3,800. Although against Carolina and Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if I'm buying that. Yeah, he lit up the Bucks, but it's the Bucks. They're the worst. This guy, I just have a sneaky feeling. Remember, quarterbacks are more conservative on the road. Matt Stafford traveling to Oakland. Oakland's horrible against tight ends. They're almost always give up a touchdown to tight ends every week. And again, he's due. And he's talented. And he's 6'5", and he gets a lot of targets. I was looking at his, he usually gets between at least 4, 5, 6 targets every game. And I think this could be a high-scoring game. I like T.J. Hawkinson a lot at 3,700 this week. Ebron, 3,600. T.Y.'s out. Against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been bad against tight ends, but I don't know. I still like their defense at home, and Brissett hasn't been that great. So, again, low-scoring game. I'm not crazy about Ebron. I'd rather Doyle, who's guaranteed more targets. I do have a sneaky feeling Ebron gets a touchdown, but Doyle, 3,000 is really good. Griffin for the Jets. Miami's bad against the tight end. He had a great game last week. Herndon might not play. He's worth a dart. But probably my favorite, though, to be quite frank, is Cameron Brate. Looks like O.J. Howard's out. High-scoring game. Seattle's another team that's been horrible against the tight end. High-scoring game. That's everything you want in a matchup. High-scoring. Teams on the road. Seattle's got a good pass rush. You might want to dump it off to the tight end. That's his red zone target. The bromance between Winston and Cameron Brate is real at 3,100 with no O.J. Howard. Love. Arguably my favorite tight end. I think I'm leaning really, really, really heavily. Hawkinson's climb. All my lineups that I've been practicing with had Cameron Brate, but I think I'm going to start including a couple in with Hawkinson more. It's just been hard. Like I said, it's when you guys start playing with the lineups, you'll see that it's been really hard to get solid players because there's not a lot of really good receivers. Like I really got to be on point this week with these calls. And then defense. I mentioned this guy earlier. Haskins has looked horrible. So Buffalo, even though they're the most expensive defense, they're still, I think, a bargain at 3,800 because they're going to get some turnovers. They'll probably get some touchdowns. Browns, another team going against the team's third quarterback, Chris Harris, his own team. I was like, oh, I don't want to judge a man by the practice squad. I'm paraphrasing here, but he didn't sound confident in this guy. I forgot his name, but the Browns, they have a really good defense, really good pass rush, really good corners. So And Denver's not a really good offense with the third string quarterback. So that's my second favorite. They're 3,100. I don't like them as much as Buffalo because they're not as good. But really, really like. And then the other side, Baker's been a turnover machine. Broncos are a special defense at home. They played very well this year, period, especially in the secondary, which is why I like Chubb and nobody else. Chris Harris was shut down. So 2,900, they're worth a look at. I think Panthers at home, I think they're going to come out pissed after the showing they had. It's Ryan Tannehill. So 2,800, I think the Panthers are a good deal. I found myself doing some lineups with the Steelers at 2,400. But the problem I have with the Steelers, they lost to it. Indianapolis has a really good offensive line, so they're not going to be able to get to Jacoby Brissett as much. And they don't turn the ball over, the Colts. So, I like them because they're cheap, and they have like 4 or 5 straight games with double digits. But I think I like this next defense more. If you're looking to save money, guys, I'm really big on the Kansas City Chiefs because they're playing at home. Chiefs are like the Broncos. Chiefs have one of the best home field advantages. I still don't trust Kirk Cousins, especially if Adam Thielen sits. And then Chris Jones, their sack guys back, Frank Clark, their other big free agent acquisition, Kendall Fuller. Their defense was playing pretty good until all of these injuries. So if all those guys are back, now if Thielen plays and, there's still some guys missing, I think Chris Jones will be back. That's a big one. But I think I'll definitely have some lineups with the Kansas City Chiefs, more with the Bills, even though they're a lot more expensive. But the Chiefs, I think you're always looking for that sneaky defense that's super cheap, that has big upside. And I think any defense going against Kirk Cousins on the road, Kansas City got a good home field, home advantage. So I like the Chiefs. I just have to see if like Thielen's playing or whatnot. But I do think Cook's still going to tear him a new one, but doesn't mean they can't get a couple sacks, a couple turnovers, So there you have it, guys. There you have it. Almost an hour. But I wanted to break down a lot of stuff to you guys. I think this video hopefully helped you guys. And then now for the couple of games. I've just been picking 6 games. I'm going to keep it with 6. These are all over-unders, all overs. Honestly, these are the ones that stuck out to me. I think the easiest one, hate betting on the Jets, but I'm not really betting on the Jets. I'm betting at the Jets and the Fins and how bad they are. But I think 42.5 points just seems like very little with 2 teams, with 2 bad defenses, with a coach that wants to, prove to his team that they messed up letting him go. Then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who used to play for the Jets. I think there's a lot of motivation and a lot of bad defense to make this game go. 42.5 points is nothing, guys. 51 points is a lot. But again, Detroit has been in a shootout every single game. Now, this is scary because of that. Sometimes that can backfire. It's like, oh, it's so obvious it's going to be a shootout. It ends up being the opposite. But 51 points, it's not a little bit. But when you got 2 teams that are pretty much clicking on offense and are been pretty bad on defense, you got to like, the chances going over. Same thing with Tampa Bay and Seattle. Tampa Bay traveling all the way to Seattle. I think Seattle's going to pour it on offensively, which means Tampa Bay is going to have to try to keep up. Tampa Bay is a top 5 offense. 52.5, that just means you got to get 28-25. I think it could definitely be 28-25. You know what I'm saying? Or more. Cowboys and Giants, again, Cowboys not the same team defensively. Giants finally, for the first time this year, have all of their weapons. Cowboys were talking junk about Daniel Jones. Think he comes to play. I think Dak has been a giant killer. 48 points. I don't think that's a lot of points, and I will take the over in that as well. Houston and the Jags. Houston just lost 2 of their best defensive players. Obviously, their best, J.J. Watt, their best corner, Roby. They weren't good at stopping the air attack anyway. It's a London game. Deshaun Watson. Those players like Deshaun Watson, he's going to want to put on a good show in front of, the foreigners, the Brits, the English. And Hopkins I saw an interview with him. He's big on traveling to London. So he's going to want to put on a show. And then, you got Minshew. I just think it's going to be a shootout, guys. 47 points is not a lot of points to cover for 2 pretty good offenses. And Jaguars away from home are not the same. A lot of defenses are not the same away from home. The Broncos, the Vikings, most defenses actually. So I think this could definitely go over 47. And the last but not least, is the Bears and Eagles. Bears are not that vaunted defense that they've been. Carson Wentz, he's just a good player. He's at home. And then Philadelphia is just bad on defense. So I think as bad as the Bears have been on offense, I think this will be higher scoring than people think. I think it's going to be more like 25, 23, something like that. Because this is the one defense the Bears should be able to score on. And then the Eagles, they'll have to do their due diligence to win this game at home. They're kind of in a must win. And I'm a big believer in Carson Wentz. So I do think they'll be able to get over 41 points. Like I said, it's not a lot. 23-21, that covers it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think, guys. That's what I think. And again, guys, these are just suggestions. You have to go with your gut. If your gut says differently, don't blame the messenger. I just try my best with the information that I've given, with my experience, with my research, and my own intuition. I do use that as well. And so far, it's been good. Look at the games closely so you know the best opportunity for you guys to make money within your budget. And then, as always, guys, good luck. All right? Take care.